Hey guys, what is up? It's the 27th of February 2025. So much to talk about in the world of rugby. Some massive events happened overnight in terms of the international coaching structure. Lot to talk about. We're going to talk about this man, Rassie Erasmus. You see here the Springboks coach who may just be building a super team of coaches. He's made a very nice pickup, and it's a familiar face. We'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about Clayton McMillan. He's going to sign off with the Chiefs, who at the moment look likely to win Super Rugby. Going to talk about where he's going next. And then we're going to play All Blacks Watch. Who are the players already putting their hands up for the black jersey? We're going to finish with some Super Rugby predictions. But guys, let's get straight to it. The big news overnight, the bombshell. Felix Jones. He was the defense coach with England, you might remember. Highly touted individual. He was in the Springbok coaching setup for both the 2019 and 2023 World Cups, which were quite auspicious considering that the South Africans won both of them. He left the Springbok setup. He was ensconced in the English setup for a very short period of time, a little bit over a year. I believe he came in around January 2024. And of course, the headlines when he departed very much focused on his statement that it was an unstable working environment. It's pretty understandable. Borthwick's been bedding in as the new English coach with not a great deal of success in the past year. He seems to be pulling the nose up this year. But of course, Felix Jones was stepping into the aftermath of Eddie Jones. My God. Not a fan of that guy. Much more of a disruptive presence. Well, I hope he's enjoying his retirement plan in Japan. I hope he's getting paid very well because I think that all of the juice has been squeezed out of Eddie in terms of coaching Tier 1 sides. Just my opinion. But Felix Jones, well, he was a much sought-after free agent. There was talk about him being involved with the British and Irish Lions. There were various provincial teams talked about. I want to say Leinster maybe. Yeah, that was discussed. But ultimately, he's gone right back to South Africa. That's why this man here, my boy Rassie Erasmus, is grinning because he knows he's got a winner. He's got a proven winner. You know, Jones was instrumental in that Springboks setup. And I haven't seen all of Chasing the Sun 2, which is a behind-the-scenes documentary about the South Africans winning the World Cup in 2023, going back-to-back. Maybe it's just because I'm butthurt as a New Zealander. I mean, I'm still, still mourning the one that got away, that 1 point loss to South Africa. I have seen some clips from the series, which seems terrific. I mean, they really embedded the cameraman behind the scenes in the team planning sessions, which are normally sacred, never go on camera. But saw plenty of clips of Felix Jones breaking down the opposition in forensic detail. So he clearly has a brilliant mind. So he's coming back into the Boks. It's an unspecified role at this point in time. You have to think it might be around defense, though. Certainly Tony Brown, the New Zealander, has done well with the Boks attacking portfolio. But look, my view is wherever he winds up in the South African setup, this is a big pickup for Rassie. He's building a terrific assortment of coaches. I think he has enough now. Can someone tell me in the comments how many assistant coaches South Africa has? Is it like 50? No, I mean, I embellish, I exaggerate. But, it's quite a lot. If anything, it could get to the point of too many chefs spoiling the broth. They're not quite there yet, but it's certainly an outsized coaching cabinet. The cabinet of advisors to the president. Oh boy. It's a good time to be a BOK fan. I mean, they just seem to be getting stronger and stronger. Got that massive squad of 50 that they're trying to build for 2027. We'll see. They're at the peak right now. Is it going to be like the fall of the Roman Empire? Are they going to be in decline? I'm not sure. I think they're kind of replacing their aging parts as they go, and I think that tactically Rassie is staying on top. Obviously, I'm a New Zealander, so I'm hoping the Kiwis beat them at home this year. And international rugby's cyclic. The Boks won't be on top forever, but right now, I like what I'm seeing, honestly, from the South Africans. And I think that's a good pickup. But there was another huge development with the world of coaching and international rugby, Clayton McMillan, who is the current Chiefs coach, Super Rugby. By the way, the Chiefs have just gone 2-0. If you haven't seen it, they have looked absolutely like the most impressive team in Super Rugby. Well, he is going to say goodbye at the end of this season. He's going to Munster. Funnily enough, a team he coached against recently, because he was, one of the coaches for the All Blacks 15. So not the All Blacks, but a kind of developmental New Zealand team, a tier below. But they played Munster. So he's kind of familiar with them. Maybe he enjoyed his visit over there to Munster. But that's a great pickup for Munster. Look, Clayton McMillan, he's always the bridesmaid. If you look at his Super Rugby career, he's got 3 losing grand finals in the past 4 years. So you just wonder if he's going to go all the way with the team this year. I was thinking, man, does this absolutely cement the Chiefs as favorites to win in Super Rugby? Because it's sort of the farewell for their beloved coach. I'm not sure. So often you hear players in their post-match interview when they've lost and they say, oh man, we really wanted to send so-and-so out on a winning note and we just couldn't do it today. You often hear that. There's a big occasion, they're trying to, commemorate a player retiring or a coach's final game and the team ends up losing. Sometimes I think that's distracting emotion. I think the only emotion the Chiefs need to focus on right now is anger and bitterness and pain, because it's working damn well for them. Having lost all those grand finals, they're spewing, as we say in Australia. They're filthy about it. They're angry. They need a win. And right now they're channeling that bitterness into their defense and the breakdown. And if they can keep doing that, I think they will win the Super Rugby title. But whether they win it or not, it will be Clayton's last year. So we'll save the wrap-up on his Super career until after this season. But obviously, if he goes out a winner, you'd have to say he was a top-tier coach. He is already. He's done wonders with the Chiefs. So good luck to him in Munster. But speaking of the Chiefs, let's do a bit of All Blacks watch. I like to keep an eye on Super Rugby, thinking about the All Blacks, thinking about the New Zealand national team. And I'm just going to throw a few names at you. I'm going to throw 3 at you that have really stood out to me. One of them is this guy, Quinn Tupaia. Now, he had a shocking leg injury. He was illegally cleaned out by a wallaby and a ruck back in 2023. I believe it was in Melbourne. He was out for a year, but he has come back looking bigger, fitter, stronger. He is a muscular presence in midfield. Now, New Zealand has Geordie Barrett, Rieko Ioane, other contenders that we'll talk about knocking on the door. But this guy's already worn black. And I feel like he's ratcheted up his game a couple of levels. I'm seeing a lot of physical impact. What I'm seeing is that he dents or breaks the gain line almost every time he has the ball. And watching all these Six Nations games, seeing the physical battle, seeing the girth in midfield, I don't think it's enough for the New Zealanders just to play into space. I think we need a counterpoint to a Rieko Ioane or a Billy Proctor. Could be this guy, Quinn Tupaia. Could be Lester Fainga'anuku when he comes back in. We need that brawn. This guy's a smart footballer, but he punches over the gain line, and we need that physical impact. If we can't get around the opposition, if we can't get around the rush D that we know Ireland, England, South Africa is going to be bringing at us, sometimes we've got to go through the middle, just get over the gain line a little bit, have our forwards roll around, hit the ruck, attack from different angles. But it's guys like this in midfield who are worth their weight in gold, because they can do that crash ball in midfield, get those hard yards that you just need sometimes to set up your attack. Another guy I want to talk about, Tavatawa Nawai from the Highlanders. This guy is special. Now, he plays on the wing, but he also plays in midfield, and there's a bit of a familiar theme to this All Blacks watch today. I'm going to repeat something I just said, my talking point about Quinn Tupaia. This guy gets over the gain line. Yes, he's creative. Yes, he's fast. Yes, he's a good finisher, all that. But what's going to catch the eye of Robertson is 2 things. One is that ability to just use physicality to get the hard yards done. If you can't go around him, go through him. This bloke exemplifies that. But the other thing that I know is going to catch the attention of Mr. Razor Robertson is his utility value. I mean, Razor, for better or worse, is very fixated on guys in the backline being able to play multiple positions. He loves a fullback that can play winger. He loves a midfielder that can play on the wing. Well, this guy ticks that box. Now, it's pretty crowded in the outside backs. Of course, you've got Talea, you've got Will Jordan, you got Caleb Clark, and you got Amoni Narawa, whose All Blacks career has been cruelled by injury, and he really got, one game last year? Against Fiji? Was that it? Italy? Who did... I can't even remember who Amoni Narawa played at. I mean, slim pickings for him internationally since he left the Rugby World Cup squad in 2023 with a back injury. So there are some guys who've already tasted the black jersey who are in contention, but you have to look at a bolter like this who's bringing the grunt. You got to keep an eye on him. That's all it is for now. It's only round 2 going into round 3, but keep your eye on this bloke. I do also want to mention one other guy, Falau Fakatava. Now, the reason is that TJ Perenara is gone. Sayonara. He's off to Japan, I believe. Great All Black career. Razor used him a lot last year, even though he knew he was leaving. He did the same thing with Sam Cane. He said, I need to win now. He got 10 out of 14, not a bad return, so I can understand the logic. But now he really needs that third choice halfback. We saw Noah Hotham play last year, young Crusaders prospect who's very promising. But clearly Cam Roygaard's number 1. Cortez Ratama from the Chiefs seems to be number 2. And by the way, Ratama has been coming off the bench for the Chiefs, playing a hell of an impact sub role. Feels a little bit like a preview of what we might see with the All Blacks this year, with Roygaard starting, Ratama on the bench. But who's number 3? Just keep this guy in mind. He is taking some of the rough edges off his game instead of running all the time because he's a very mobile halfback. He has been using a good kicking game. I like what I'm seeing from him, but if it's not him, it's that other man, Finlay Christie from the Blues. The big knock on him was that he was a bit labored getting to the rucks, that his service wasn't as quick as a guy like Roygaard. Well, if I look at the stats for the Blues, the ruck speed's actually been better. I think he's hitting the rucks faster. So clearly that was a work on for Christie. He might be tightening up that area of his game. It could be a straight shootout between Christie and this man, Falau Fakatava, for that third All Blacks halfback spot. So watch this space. But the Highlanders did a number on the Blues. Let's talk about them for a second. Are the Blues in real strife? Like, are they just cooked even after 2 weeks? It sure feels that way. They're just not the championship side that they were last year, and not a lot has changed. Okay, one personnel change is Akira Ioane, brother of Rico Ioane. He's gone offshore. Now, he may not have set the world on fire as an All Black, but he was an A-grade player at a provincial level, at a Super Rugby level. He brought some real physicality to the number 6 position. But the Blues still have Ricky Riccitelli, their hooker. They still have Dalton Papali'i. Still have Patrick Tuipulotu captaining the team and starting in the middle row. So they have much of the cattle they had last year. They have the same coach. I just think they're not playing to their potential. They're not hungry enough. They're getting out-passioned. That's what I'm seeing. I don't think they need to reinvent the wheel. I think their physical game plan with the pick and go and their line-out dominance. Last year, they're at 89% line-out wins. They had the best line-out in the competition. They don't need to stray away from that. They need to just perform to the level they're capable of. It's going to start with the top 2 inches. That's what's been missing for me. They haven't showed up as fired up as the other Kiwi teams. And right now, they're finishing last. But they also need to get more out of this man, Beauden Barrett, who's been playing at fullback. My view is he probably needs to shift back to 10. And when Stephen Perifetta is fit and firing, have him at 15. I think that if they have dual playmakers, they're going to get a lot more out of their attack. Don't forget, they've got Talea, they've got Clark, all black wingers. They got Rico Ioane. I mean, Jesus Christ, they are stacked with talent. They're the big underperformers of Super Rugby so far. But my prediction is shift Bodie back to 10, get him closer to the action, get him more involved. Get rid of those aimless kicks, Beauden. A lot of aimless kicking from fullback. It's kind of weird. I mean, look, he didn't play for the Blues last year. He was in Japan. He came back to the All Blacks and slotted in, but he seems to be having teething problems getting back into Super Rugby, even though it's a step below international rugby. But you know what they say? Form is temporary, class is permanent. This bloke has class. 2-time World Rugby Player of the Year. Remember what he did in the Rugby World Cup? against Ireland in that quarterfinal. Sensational. He's a big game player, so expect Bowden to really lift as the season wears on. But already the Blues are in a hole. They need to pick up some wins. So let's look ahead to this weekend of Super Rugby. We'll finish with some predictions here. We've got Moana Pacifica versus the Highlanders. I'm going to go with the Highlanders on that one. I just think they're on a roll right now. We got the Tars versus the Fijian Drua. I think the Waratahs are going to win that. They have looked great. And they beat the Highlanders in round one. And seeing what the Highlanders did to the Blues, you realize that was a pretty good little scalp for the Waratahs to pick up, even at home. Highlanders are no easy beats this year. So I'm going to go with the Waratahs. Then we got the Chiefs and the Brumbies. Got to go with the Chiefs. Chiefs Mana, think they're on a roll. Think they're going to keep their form hot. Hurricanes versus Blues. Man, you know what? I think the Blues are going to turn it around a little bit this season. I'm not sure that it's going to be this week. I think they might go 0-3. I'm going to pick the Hurricanes to win that one. And then we have the Force and the Reds. Even though the Force are undefeated, I am going to go with the Reds. So there you go, guys. Super Rugby's awesome so far. Absolutely awesome. I can't believe the quality. Well, guys, I'm heading to Australia. I'm about to get on a plane. It's been a whirlwind trip getting my American citizenship. Now I'm going home, doing some filming for a new movie I've been part of, and also going to see my friends and family. Hopefully see some Super Rugby live. But I'll be reading all the comments, so make sure you reply below. Let me know if you think that Rassie is building the ultimate dream team. Do you think the Boks are unstoppable? Let me know what you think. Let me know who you think is playing their way into All Blacks contention. I'll be back for another one real soon from Australia. I'll see you guys then. Take it easy. Bye for now.